So this is my complete workflow. It's completely working and can submit the pipeline, and you can check this pipeline analysis, node 6 and edges are 5 and I have to validate the AG. So GM sir, and in this recording I'm going to explain my technical assignment, that is Visual AI Pipeline Builder. So the tool likes LangFlow and N8 and Zapier. So in this recording I'm going to explain how my project work, how my tool can possibly to make drag a nodes and to connect them with edges and build a pipeline and send to the backend, and backend validate the pipeline. So I'm going to take to my screen and will explain the code architecture, how I build this. So let's move to the screen. So let me explain the code, how I built this all. So the backend and frontend. Backend is built on FastAPI, because FastAPI is modern way framework, Python framework, and help to build API quickly. And first user build a pipeline visually, and then frontend collect a node to each and send pipeline JSON to the backend, and backend build the graph and check if the pipeline is a directed acyclic graph, then return validation result. So backend folder contain this main.py and PyCache and requirement txt. So on main.py explanation, I'm going to explain this main.py, how I create this. So first I am write this 3 tasks for to create a API server and to receive the pipeline data and validate the pipeline graph. So import logging, this portion that contain import logging and trying to import any list. This is the purpose for logging, used to debugging and error tracking, and for typing, define type for the variables. Example, that kind of list any, this one. So I'm using this for I'm importing this package. And next one, from FastAPI, import fast. From this line I import this FastAPI to create the web API server, and FastAPI because I told FastAPI modern Python framework. So for FastAPI middleware course, import course middleware. For this line I built this because browser blocked the request between the different ports. So like if the front end runs on port 3000 and backend runs on 8000, so course allow this communicate. I use this for because course otherwise course doesn't allow to communicate backend with front end. So I use this, and then I use from Python import the base model, this line, because it's used for data validations. It ensures the incoming data matches the expected structures. And then logging steps. So logging setup, I built this logging setup. So logging, how it will work, to show the log in terminal and help the debugging error. Example, when I will going to run this, then will the info node pipeline parts successfully for this. So I'm to create API server, I use this app is equals to FastAPI to create a API server. This create a FastAPI application instance and to object handle for all the API routes. I use this, and then I built the course configuration. I have already made this, so I maintained this in this line of code. And the pipeline data model. So for pipeline data model, I use this that define the data coming from the front end. And for the root endpoint, like backend is working or not, that's why I use this. If backend is working, the port 8000 is running, then it will return the ping pong, and then root endpoint, and then I put this main endpoint also. So main endpoint is this, This structure is main endpoint. So in this main endpoint, like if the front end send, the node is edges are working all. Example, I have taken the input template LLM and output. So this all requirement is just, written in this, and then graph construction, and then all kind of this. And I also use the DAG validation to follow the cycle in node, like if node is connected, first node connected to second node, and second node is connected to third node, then third node should be connected to the first node also. So a kind of cycle detection algorithm to visit node, add to recursion stack, and visit neighbors and detect the cycles. So it's all for the backend structure I made it, and for front end. And for front-end architecture, I built this using the React and ReactFlow. ReactFlow is a library for building the node-based editors. Because I see the LangFlow, Anytane, and other tools are using this ReactFlow library. So I also use this ReactFlow. So my front-end folder structure is front-end SRC. Let me explain this. So like input. In this file, its purpose for entry point of data. Like first node, how the entry point of data. And what template node, this one. So template node, I made this for format data using the templates. Then the LLM node, how it will represent the large language model like GPT, Claude, and Llama and all. So used for AI reasoning for the text generation. And branch node, if it's implement for the conditional logic, the sentiments positive like path A else path B. This is written in this. And last, HTTP node, if for HTTP node, like if the call external APIs, it's for calling the external APIs like Open API or Weather API or Database API and all. And this memory node, in this memory node, store the context or the previous data, example the chat history or the conversational AI. And logger is similarly logger node, this one. So in this, like to debugging the nodes and to display the intermediate pipeline data for the useful during the development. And at last, output node here, the final output of the pipeline, example to generated response or the API result. And in this app.js, main front-end component to responsibly initialize the ReactFlow, register node type, and render canvas, and handle pipeline submissions and all the structures. And similarly, all the like draggable Node.js, draggable Node.js, and store.js for draggable to drag and drop two nodes from toolbar, and to store.js to manage the state of ReactFlow. And at last, this submit.js, I built this to handle the sending pipeline data to the backend. In this, I written this code like to handle the sending pipeline data to the backend, to post pipeline, and to parse the pub. So now I'm going to taking a demo. I am going to how it's going to work. So first, front end, and on other hand, make a new terminal to backend. I have written in the Python 3 -m uvcon. Uvcon is a library, and uvcon main/app main colon app, sorry, and reload. Now backend is running properly, and I'm going to start this front end. So front end is running. Let me. So it's running properly. So I have taken input. Suppose I have taken input. Okay. Then template, how it's going to be rendered and all. Then LLM. That's AI model. Then memory. We can zoom or zoom out from this, and after this I put logo, and we should output. So let me connect this. So we can change this text or file that we want, what kind of input we want. So this is all about. And can on submitting the pipeline, you can submit this. Yes. So like pipeline analysis, node 6 nodes and edges and the valid DAG. Yes. So this is all explanation about my project. I hope you like it.